Oh, there we go. Yeah. How's everybody doing today? Happy Saturday, June 15th, 2024. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Joseph Sunderman here, Creative Tech, and what a crazy week with everything going on. Apple's announcements with WWDC 24. We had Cincy AI week, which was huge. Like, I just learned about it the week before last, and to be able to go and be introduced to so many great leaders. Like, I feel like I've been working out on an island out in the middle of nowhere for the last decade, and just to see all these faces and everybody being so welcoming, and just hearing other people's experiences and their stories, and knowing it's crazy. We're all just human, right? We're all just another person living our experience. We all have our demons, we all have our angels, right? So yeah, it's really crazy to me how being a creative tech, like, even though I'm doing this thing right here and I'm like the only one really watching, and there's not a whole lot of interaction, we're not really doing Facebook posts yet or anything of that nature, there's still a lot of exciting things happening. And like, the delta that I'm building with this show, starting with nothing, and now with going to events, and I knew this would happen. I've met so many people. If I had my shit together, had a QR code to quickly pull up, say, hey, can you do me a favor, fill out the survey while you're walking around, you have time. It's a 25 question survey, so you're looking at a pretty good, there's some deep questions here, so this isn't going to be a quick survey. Yeah, you can't have them fill out. Like, I was trying to think, maybe I make a quicker form or something, but again, I took a step back, took a deep breath, and said, you know what? This is one of many to come. Learn what you can while you're here. Be present. Take some of those things we talked about in these past sessions and apply those, so that way you can help show that delta as you grow. And like, it's emotional, man. I get excited about this because it's the pit. You don't have a picture of where you're going, what you're doing yet. Say something. Let me know that you want to get there, and I'll tell you all the steps. They're on the Facebook page. Yeah, we want to get you aligned. We want to get you on our database with other creative techs. Everybody I met this week at Cincy AI Week, I want them in my database. I want all the columns filled out, so that way when we have a session with one of them, and this isn't about comparing yourself. It's about looking at. Today's episode is called Algorithms. We are going to be discussing engagement. So here we are talking about engagement a little bit already. We're going to talk about visibility. How do you make it clearly visible? And then we'll finish everything off with analytics. How do you take that data? What do you do with it? Well, analytics is what you take your analytics and you apply action with those analytics. So yeah, that's today's discussion. Lots going on with the creative tech, and we're going to get into all of it. Starting with catching up on some things that we've been doing lately. So, I've already into that segment already, talking about what happened this last week. Cole has some exams that he has to do, so he's out for the next few weeks. So, looks like I'm pretty much flying solo here on the show for a while. But I did talk to quite a few people, and they are excited to be on the show. And I don't know how to do that part of it because the show isn't going well enough. It's not like Hot Ones where you can sit down and have wings and just, have anybody come on and you do this one thing and you have a great conversation while you're doing this thing. Like, I'm asking someone to come in and talk about this thing. So when I have a guest on sessions where we have a focus with 3 topics, that means I have to get ahead of the show and talk to them about the agenda to say, hey, what do you want to focus on? And then we take whatever we want to focus on, whatever that thing is, we pick 3 topics around that focus. And the way we come up with those topics, after Six Sigma training, understanding Japan and all their, 5S and all their different models for organizing, keeping things clean. Yeah. Where was I going with all this? Bottom line is we have to have a structure to the show, and our structure to the show is focus, 3 topics. Oh yeah, all these different systems, Six Sigma, this and that, this and this. Simon Sinek got a book. You start with why, and I really love that. Any business should start like that's a really good book because everybody should start with why. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But the 5 questions we all were told to ask at school to figure something out: the who, what, why, when, and where. We take the 3: the why, the how, and the what. Those are the 3 things. Those are the 3 topics. That's what we do when we have a focus. We have 3 topics. The first topic is always going to be is why is this focus part of the why is it important to the tribe? And for me, algorithms are all about the why is because of your engagement, the way you engage, the way you act, the way you do things with people based off those algorithms. That's why we chose engagement. The how do you do that? How do you get people to engage, and how do you do that? Well, it's your interaction with them. It's your visibility. It's what you're putting out there. It's your communications, internal and external. Like I said, if I have a show with somebody before we have that show, I got to get with them and do this and that. What is that experience like for someone going to be on the show? That to me would be internal communications. And then external communications is going to be, well, what are we wanting to put out there? What are we wanting them to take away from it? What experience do we want them to walk away from? And with these guests that I have, the focus, whatever the topics are, oh my, yeah, it'll be good. It's because it's a formula. It's a damn algorithm. So, yeah, that's why we're talking about algorithms. We want you to understand what an algorithm is and how you use them to your advantage in everyday life. And I always do like a little pre-stream if I can before the show. And I was on here talking to AI about today's show. I like to do a little brainstorm. If I don't have Cole and Will to bounce off of or anybody else, I got my lovely assistant here to talk to. And she and I asked her a question. The first question I asked her was, were algorithms a thing during the prehistoric time, like during caveman times? Like were algorithms there? And absolutely, because algorithms, all they are is just patterns, right? It's actions. It's a recipe. If they're going to go out and hunt, someone's hungry and they see, oh, I'm picking berries all day, and then if somebody kills a boar and they can eat for a week, and they're like, hey, you're picking berries all day to get a meal. I kill this one thing and we're eating for a week. Our algorithm is changing now. We're gonna go for more boar. We still like the berries though, because boar tastes like ass, especially when they're before fire. I'm so stupid. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. But what I will say is we have so many inputs and our outputs are our actions. What do we do? And whatever inputs we get, that's what makes our actions. So why is this so important? Because whatever you do with your, like, even right now, I need to make sure I'm talking about things. Like, I want to talk about some things going on in my personal life right now. Like, it's really quite the show. But that's not what this focus is about. And if I'm all over the place and my algorithm's screwed up and I'm not performing and my output isn't proper, I'm losing attention. I'm losing my audience. I'm losing opportunities. It's not good. So that's today's topics and everything. That's what we're working on. We're working on building the creative tech, the modern workforce. And that's another thing I want to know from everybody is what is your take on the modern workforce, the term modern workforce? I'm under the impression modern workforce, I'm turning that down a little bit more. I like to have the music kind of playing in the background here because there's a low humming noise. I don't know how much the low filter is cutting out. So if you're watching this on something that's large and big speakers, it's going to have some noise to it, I believe. I like the music to cover up some of that low end, like that messiness. Hopefully I'm coming through clear. AI is supposed to be making things better. Who knows? Oh, where do we start? All right, let's get into the show. So, real quick, I forgot to do this in the intro. Why did we start Creative Tech? Creative Tech is a lab per se. We created the Creative Tech because if you've noticed, I got cameras laying everywhere. There's a bunch of lenses. There's a bunch of technology, and the reason for that is because I have a production company. I have all this media stuff, and I invested on all this because of iCore, and I wanted to be able to make training videos that go on the team sites that we develop for people. I want to be able to market our brand really well and be good at this and be good at talking. So I decided not to pay people to do that for me because I would be paying somebody to do a lot of fun work. I like working and I love making shit and I love creativity. So I said, instead of investing tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars into marketing and branding from a third party, some agency of record, I would much rather bring that in-house. Boom. So back in 2019, I had all this vision. We started Icora. In 5 years this month, everybody. Icora, 5 years. Where's my little music soundboard thing? Woo-hoo! I need an editor. I wouldn't have to do all that. Anyway, 5 years already. Oh well. It was a good run, everyone. God, just last month was my anniversary. That's so crazy. 5 years. 5 years married, 5 years business. I say we shut it all down and do it again. Well, what do we do? No. So, yeah, I didn't want to spend all that money into marketing and whatnot. So what I did was I invested that money into cameras, lights, all kinds of stationery, stands, diffusion, cables, storage. Oh my! It's a nightmare. I should be paying somebody tens of thousands, $100,000 a year to do this because this is insane. But it's keeping me busy and it's definitely a challenge. And here we are. So this Creative Tech, this whole show, this whole thing, what it's for, I gotta quit setting that down like that. What it's for is to get good at my message, get good at talking about the brand and what it is we're doing, and to get good at being consistent with online material. Instead of an online 1 hour show, I could be taking that hour and putting it to Canva post for the MTP. And we may end up doing that at some point. My hope is that we get the Creative Tech going well enough that there's a huge workforce. We have our creative techs that are signing up, that are helping each other and growing a community. And we can get into all that here in a little bit. I probably should have said that right at the beginning. Hey, welcome to this huge community. We're creating this from the ground up. What we were doing is we started with scratch. We literally started with no format to the show, no nothing. And we started growing it from the ground up. And every week we add improvements. And as we go, you're going to see the delta go from nothing to having a full-blown series with multiple different, different series. Like Sessions is our training series, 1 hour live session once a week, where we get on here and we have a focus with 3 topics. So if I have a guest come in here, that's what we need to work on that. And talking about that right there is the content for the show. As I'm talking about algorithms, as I'm talking about everything I'm talking about, this is all aligned. So it allows me the freedom to stay within the guardrails. And what I really want you to take away from this is that your inputs, what you take in, what you think about, what you process every day. Kendra Ramirez sent me this really cool story. And I've heard it before. It's just been a while. But it's the story of 2 wolves. Anyway. So Bottom line is, I am working to get good at my messaging and understanding my inputs and making sure I get the best outputs. I need to turn my notifications off while I'm doing a show because, being disrespected and being talked to, and is it disrespectful if they're messaging you during your show? Do they know you're on the show? Probably not. So that's probably ill thinking on my part. Or are they being disrespectful? That too, probably. But it's all good. So bottom line is you have to make a choice in life with your inputs. And your inputs, you have to understand how serious your inputs are and take that and make decisions with it. So you take your decisions and you roll with it. So I have to I have to focus on what's important. And right now, getting the business going, getting the MTP going is like the only thing really that's going to keep the businesses alive. To keep everything going in the right direction. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the first topic: engagement. How do we do engagement? Well, I know what I'm doing, but we can talk a little bit around what possibilities you have and what you can do for engagement. For me, engaging with everybody, you'll see this in somebody that's really good with working with people, that to understand algorithms, and we can get into algorithms when we start talking about social media if you really want to, but it's all the same thing, because just the same way humans think. How do you think these computers are breaking things down? How do you think AI is how do you think these modules are being created to choose what goes where? And ethics and morals are very important here, but humans understand this stuff, not machines. So, God, there is a lot of drift. There's a lot of hallucinations in data. What comes in these eyes and these ears, and then what comes out of this mouth. That's actually what I tried to make for the picture for today's show, is, a bunch of stuff coming in the ears and the eyes. I mean, we can do your skin and your smell and stuff. But so what I do to stay focused, especially when you have a lot of heavy stuff on your plate and in your head, like you're working, you got life to deal with, you got work to deal with, and as you're taking all this in, how do you filter it out? How do you compartmentalize your emotions and say, hey, it's not time for relationships right now, or family. It's always time for relationships, but it's not time for personal relationships right now. I need to focus on work, or knowing where you are and putting yourself in positions. That's why I always say you want to have a good life is about fabric. God, I am all over the place. I'm trying to find a clear way for you to just understand that you being aware of everything and being aware of what you're allowing to come in your ears and your eyes, what you take in, it's just like the story of two wolves. If you feed the good wolf by bringing in good things, when you like if you watch gruesome stuff, if you watch, like, everybody loves those murder shows, right? But if that's all you take in, and you're taking it in a negative light, well, yeah, sure enough, you probably will turn into you're feeding. If you feed into your anger, your jealousy, if you have those thoughts and you allow that, if you don't find something to distract you and get those thoughts out of your head, if you ruminate in it, you become it. So if you're watching things that are good, positive, growth, things that bring you joy, happiness, pleasure, not at the expense of others, then beautiful. And the beautiful thing is if you can do that with other people and you guys find things that bring joy and happiness, again, being human is very complex. We are some of the most advanced, craziest creatures in the world. And our ability to make and to create, I do believe that we all have the ability to take things in. Even animals use algorithms. You know, my dogs have routines. So, yeah. Let's get into the creative tech. Why engagement for creative tech? So your personal brand, make sure you're healthy. Make sure your family, those around you are healthy. Make sure everybody's taking care of themselves. And yeah. And if you notice somebody in your circle not taking care of themselves, it's your responsibility, if you love your circle, to help them. And not to push help on them, but to hear them out and get the help that you need. So, yeah, that is what it is. And I just, all I can say is this has been one of the hardest shows I've had to do in a long time, and one of the most exciting shows I've had to do in a long time. You go to these crossroads with your personal brand, and then you have your professional brand. And it's really hard to keep those aligned. And I met so many people, and they might be watching this show right now. And for me to be able to keep things together while I'm doing this right now is very difficult with everything that's going on behind the scenes. Like staying true to a show. You see these YouTubers that do it consistently every day, or 3 days a week, or once a week, every week, and they're consistent on time every time. This is the 15th episode of this show. And it's really a trial for myself. That's why I'm saying, I know there's nobody here watching. If you are watching, you're coming in, you're seeing me where I am, and I'm being very transparent about where I am. And I'm using algorithms, I'm using data. I have to see this data. And how am I doing that? Well, here, let's go ahead and show you guys a little bit. Maybe this will help me stay a little bit more organized and focused on the show and not everything that's going around me. Because that is what's going on, unfortunately. I have a lot of shit going down. But keeping it together, staying focused, and we can get through it all together. Woo, let's get rid of some of this stuff. There we go. All right, so to keep it all together, like for instance, don't judge me. This isn't perfect. If I had help, if I actually had some people that were really saw the benefit in this and was like, okay, let's make this right. Let's give this guy some help. He's doing it all. Like, that's why I'm not editing these videos, because if I had to process this after the fact, these are not getting done on a regular basis. If it wasn't for my ability to hit boop and start talking, wouldn't be happening. So, and like I was saying, I got to be able to see my data, and here is my data. Now, let me go double check this, because I have it on here that where am I going? Oh, that's where I want to go. All right. Woo, we're up to 29 members. Wait a minute. How do I approve it? Oh, I asked. Do I have to approve these people? What the fuck? I have no idea what I'm doing here, people. See, this is why I need help. Member request 1. Yes, approve. Now I'm confused. What was these 30 members? Is that me asking them to join? I feel like these guys are. What is going on here? Members 29. Learn more. That's not the right button. Damn. I look like an old man trying to play on social media, and kids are probably watching going, oh, what an idiot. Because I am an idiot. All right. Group experts, group contributors, friends. See, oh, Is that just going to show all my friends or just friends that are in the group? Ah, I see. Am I not sharing my screen yet? See, I need helps, people. I'm a hot mess. How about this? Bloop. All right, there you can see what I'm talking about. All of you can see. Yeah. Hopefully everything sounds okay. But there we go. Yep, there's our tribe so far. And a lot of these are friends, right? Like, and again, as I'm going to these shows and these events, and I start telling people about what's going on, they'll come in here. Yeah, so we've talked enough about engagement, and really, you need to engage in person just as much as you need to engage online. If you think you're going to get there just by doing, like, you can, depending on what you're doing, but for business, for B2B, for what I know what we need to do, and see what I've seen this week at these events, you're not going to get there. And if you go look at all the top contributors in LinkedIn, which is probably where I would be more than so, like on YouTube, I think you'd have a good following on YouTube if my vision comes to light. But LinkedIn, I think, is where it's going to be more powerful, just because we're talking about the modern workforce. We're helping people become the modern workforce, or to embody what we define what is the modern workforce. And that's a moving target because it's modern. I had this argument with the client this week. I don't like the term modern. Why do we want to be modern? What makes us modern? What's modern? And I would say, the 1960s, the modern workforce then didn't really comprise of many women, but there was women involved with the modern workforce back then. People that there wasn't as many women. You saw discrepancies in prejudices in both sexes, races, sexual orientation, and but that was considered modern back then. Whatever the top notch in 1960s, 1950s, whatever their top notch workforces and methodologies and leaderships were then. I don't know what it was then because I wasn't around then, and all I can do is talk about today. I've worked so many different places, and I've seen places that down to the boots on the ground have clean, clear standards and training and expectations being dropped to everybody, like just being done right. To now today, I feel like there is a new modern workforce today. There's going to be one 100 years from now. So it is always changing. All right. And yeah, how do you get all these people to see and be aware of what you're doing? It's really difficult. I apologize for this. I've been sitting here doing a little Indian dance in the background, but I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back to finish this segment. Thank you, everybody. All right. Sorry about that. I'm back. And where were we? All right. So, going down in the history of one of the most all over the place shows in the world. All right. Now that I'm back here, let's go ahead and pick up on visibility. So, visibility. We talked a little bit for the last half hour about how algorithms are around us. It's all about your inputs, and this is where we get into visibility, is your outputs. And visibility may not have been the right word. It felt right at the time, but as I got more into doing this and thinking about it before the show, I was like, shit, should probably use visibility. Actions or something, but that's where we get into with the what. So let's stay focused on visibility. On social media, visibility is everything. It's like you need a megaphone. When we say visibility, you need to be loud. You need to be seen and heard. So how do you do that? Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. You have to go to the right places. You have to be on the right platforms. You have to have the right words in place. What everybody gets down to is it's all niche, right? Niche this, niche that. I'm telling you, your niche is what you're good at and what you enjoy. And as long as you have some passion about it and you talk about it, this is what people want. They're wanting to hear and feel somebody else feeling something in life, and giving them some form of direction, or giving them some options, or some kind of perspective. And nobody's going to learn your perspective. They're not going to know how awesome you are because of all the inputs you've had and what you're capable of doing with those inputs and everything you've learned and the decisions you're making. You know, if you're not out there, you're probably not doing so well. And you'll hear Alex Hormozy and all these other big Chris Doe and some of these other ones that I have in our database already. People, they just don't know. So if you don't know that you're not very good, if you don't know that things are, how do you judge? How do you measure what you're getting? How do you see that? And that's where visibility does work out a little bit with this topic, because you want to be able to see your results. So how does algorithms support this? They give you visibility into your results. They give you some kind of insights into what you're getting out of it. So you need algorithms to use them to make decisions. And as you make decisions, you got to start executing. You got to start going to the right meetings. You got to start posting the right things, saying the right words. Am I making any sense here at all, people? Do you understand how algorithms truly work? And it's not just online. This is everywhere you go. And look out for those reoccurring things. A guy asked me, John asked me at the event, what do you do if 1,000 balls is thrown at you? I said, duck. That's what I'm going to do. Jesus Christ, I'm going to knock my desk over while I'm ducking. And he chuckled. He was like, no. But what do you do? Like, what balls do you start grabbing? Like, I don't know. I'd want to qualify them. I'd want to know which balls are important. I would only grab the ones that I felt added value. And he's like, right. And when you own a business, what it's kind of like, you got all this shit flying, and you got to like you're not going to catch everything. Not every opportunity is going to, but you want to go for the good opportunities. And trust me, there's many good opportunities that are going to fly past you that you're going to go, I wish I would have, should have, could have, would have. Don't ruminate in that. You're feeding one of those bad wolves, right? You want to keep feeding the good. So, yeah. How do you stick to that? And it all comes down to your actions. And that's what we're going to wrap up today's show with. And yeah, we got 15 minutes left. So we'll go ahead and jump into the last topic now. To truly understand what we're doing. Look at this out. Look at this. I can look at all this data. Algorithms are like a recipe, right? You do this, then you can do this. And if that's yes or no, then you do this. And as you're going through life, you start taking things in, you start knowing what works, you start making decisions based off of what's good and what's bad. That's part of algorithms, is you pick the things that are good. And by figuring that out, visibility becomes easier. And then, engaging with the data, looking at the data, analyzing that data, everything that you're taking in. That's what you have to. That's your action. You take the time to make the thing happen. And to make it happen, you have to have everything laid out in front of you if you're going to do it right. Right? If it's something simple like I gotta, find the lost toy. All right. Toy usually is in the kids' room, so we'll start there. Look under the bed. Is it there? No. All right, so you move on to the next thing. Is it in the toy box? No. Move on to the next play area. Is it here? No. If it, you go through all the steps till you find it, and now you have your little algorithm. You'll start using that more often. And I guess what I'm trying to get at here is I didn't want to make algorithm all about social media. I wanted people to look at their decision making, what they like. If you were the one flipping things in front of everybody as they're scrolling through TikTok, what would you throw in front of them next, knowing what you know, knowing what they're into, knowing what they like. And when you learn it, clients, you get into a form of running an algorithm with them, like, what questions do I ask them? How do I answer this? And that's where I wanted this episode to go. And you can see how it's totally like all over the place. But I digress. It's been a stressful week, and I'm allowed to be all stressed out. Oh boy, my friend Corey Eberwine here is bringing in, so I can't wait to read this. This will be fun, but we'll do that offline. So, analytics, breaking down the data. I have 30 members now in the tribe, which is cool. I mean, we're again, that delta, and I don't see those numbers on my my list there of all the shows. Like, I have on the very end of it, every show I do, I want to have the audience numbers at the time of the show, and it's been at 28 for a hot minute. Now we're up to 30. How long will it stay at 30? I don't know. And I got to update that data too, because if that's part of analytics to me is analyze the data. And because I don't have data automatically being shoved in there, the data is only as good as I make it. I have to update this data manually. And as I build this process, I'm going to see some kind of reoccurring theme here. There's going to be some kind of algorithm that I'm going to see where I can take something to automate that portion of whatever it is I'm doing. And I'm going to start seeing those numbers rise as I do something good here in my work here. When you hear Mr. Beast and all these people talk about, and I need to add him to the database. He'd be a good one to add to the database. But when you hear Mr. Beast talk about, taking the time to get the thumbnail right, taking the time to get the right title, the description for the video, and how do you get the people's attention in the video? You got to let them know what they're in for right away. You got to get the suspense in there. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. You can leave them on the edge the whole way, or you can tell them exactly what they want to know at the very beginning and make them wait for it at the end. However people do it. And you'll see, I love those like long shorts or TikToks or whatever the hell they're called, where someone will be like, okay, we're getting ready to make this amazing recipe, and as we go, everybody, and it takes like an hour, and they're getting to the very tippy top of it, they're gonna let this thing go, and it's all gonna explode, and they're like, and you waited that whole time, and it was just a big sham. They were basically just hyping up something really dumb. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen these before. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. But either way, yeah, making decisions in life. It's a tough one. And man, does it feel rough. It does. Anyway, so to give you guys a little update on how things are going with the creative tech, I want to take a quick run through. Let's take a quick run through, look at the alignment form, let's go ahead and take a look at and make sure everything's working as far as bringing our tribe together and getting aligned. So I did this stupid thing. Let's go see if this is on the Creative Technologist page. Let's look at discussion. Yeah, there's nobody here. June 2nd was the last post. Tech Tools. This was back in May. Jesus, this is an old one. Here's where we came up with the definition of a creative tech. That'd be a fun post. We should do that. Yeah, I guess I don't have a post on here about the 3 steps yet. That's probably stupid. Some works that we've done. Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see it too. I want to know if you all agree with this definition. A professional who champions the modern workforce paradigm, empowering individuals and their respective brands with contemporary leadership skills and digital solutions to ensure consistency across all brands. That is the creative tech. That's a person that understands what the creative tech is labeling modern workforce as and what a creative tech is. And they are, and when we say creative tech, we mean a creative technologist. You know, I'm a creative technologist. I like to call myself the creative tech just because that's the name. It's not me. This is the creative tech, or just creative tech, um, short for creative technologist. Or should I just leave it fully creative technologist? It just seems a little long. That's all. Creative tech, the creative tech. Hello, everybody. I'm Joseph Sunderman, and I'm the creative tech. Welcome. That's stupid. Anyway, I really like what we're building and the way I'm going around it. I want to make it a little bit more. I don't know. I definitely want to attract young professionals, but this is real. My focus is really anybody that just understands they have to get at it and just starts getting at it. And you don't have to do anything, everybody. I know I talk stupid. You need to do this. You have to do this. You need you need. I want to help. You don't need to do it. If you're happy where you are, great. Keep at it. That's not my intent here. My intent here is for those that want to improve. Like, what do you want to improve and why? It's also hard. Anyway. Yep. I guess that's we got 7 minutes left. And yeah. I think this has been a good session. I know I've been all over the place. I really didn't do a whole create the community update thing. Again, my agenda is a little whack at the moment. Let's see, what did we do or miss today? Community discussion. When you go over the CT group, we did talk about the numbers. We should still pull up the worksheet. I'm putting together a little post here just to get some activity. I don't know if this is stupid. Let's ask our lovely assistant here. Yeah, I don't know if that will work with the way they did the links there. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's do this. I like my post. We're gonna leave my post as it is. Yeah, baby. And maybe I'll make that part of the show. We'll start doing a post during the show, just to get something out there. Because again, see, every week we come up with something. And some of the things that we've come up with recently here, let me finish this up. no to digital solutions. Well, I don't even know why it's picking that. But I mean, we do that, but that's not something I'm boasting. Brand consistency. That's stupid. All right, let's go ahead and get this last post done, and we can call her a day. Boop, boop, boom. There we go. Cool. And there you have it. Oh, look at that. There we go. That's wild. Awesome stuff, everybody. So anyway, yeah, I do need to get the group going more. We got lots going on. Yeah, it's just been a hectic week. I need these 2 weeks vacation, and yeah. So I hope everybody's had a great week, and I love you all. I want you all to know that, and I can't wait to see everybody at the next event. See you in passing. However, we can see each other. Like I look forward to seeing you again, and yeah, I'm excited for the future. Today it's a little rough. Got a long needed 2 week vacation coming up. Lots of stress at home right now, but feed the good, ignore the bad. Y'all have a great day. I love your faces. Keep it heavy, keep it real. We'll see you next time. Peace.